What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another great installment of Running the Gauntlet, a grappling hour spinoff where pop culture and jiu-jitsu meet. We have an excellent guest today. Super stoked to have him. I don't know, has he appeared on this one? I think he was on Verbal Tap. So this is kind of like his debut, on Grappling Hour materials. We'll double check with him. We'll cross-reference. We don't have a research team, I guess is what we're saying. The research team is my brain, and if we've learned anything from our political process, it's probably having early dementia. So there is that. Nonetheless, if you guys want to support the show, you can go on over to patreon.com/grappling hour. If you go there, $5 a month, you see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you get to see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape breakdowns with the athletes themselves. We also do a segment called Roast Raf, where people roast my competition footage, and more and more. For whatever reason, though, Roast Raf is the most popular one. Surprise. Nonetheless, very happy to have you guys joining us today. Like, comment, subscribe. If you don't know what you want to like or comment, we will give you a prompt at the very end that will hopefully get you to go over to this little corner over here where you do the like. Do the like and the subscribe down that way. Okay? Appreciate you guys. All right, our guest. Well, I generally like our guest. I dislike our guest when he posts a meme. And he does not put it on his actual feed. He just puts it on his Instagram story. So what happens is myself, old person, sees the meme, goes, wow, that's funny. I would love to give my friend credit. Let's share. Share. I cannot share this. And the sad part is, after that initial moment, I no longer want to share it. So then I yell at him. I will send him a message that's like, why is this not shareable? And I'm not sure he understands my logic, my reasoning, my anger, my frustration. Nonetheless, he is joining us on today's episode. You know him as Happy Rolling BJJ. I know him as Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show our good friend, Happy Rollings 1, Tony. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. Here's a slap bump. Woo.
Yep. Well, hold on. I did that too, right there.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
There we go. See? Sir, how are you doing? And why do you anger me so by not putting it up? I know you're testing the material, but like, why not just do the thing?
Sometimes, like, you know this very well, is every day we have to battle against the algorithm. And I find sometimes I'll get more visibility and activity when I post it on stories versus wasting it on a post.
But you're wasting my time. So I'm ready to share it now. Like, I don't know if you remember the Simpsons episode where Homer wants a gun and they explain to him the laws that you can't just have one right away. And he goes, but I'm mad now. So that's what happens to me is I go, I want it now and I want to share it with people. And what I don't like doing is I don't like taking other people's memes without giving them credit. Now, granted, sometimes that will happen because you're just like, oh man, who made this? Which is my favorite way to get around attribution possible. But at the same point, you're somebody who I like, so I want to give you the credit. So why is it that you make it so difficult for me to just tell people this dude is funny?
In my defense, I do work night shift, and those story memes come out at like 2 or 3 in the morning, which you happen to be awake still.
I'm always awake. That's not the issue. The issue is when you go, oh, well, maybe you see when it posts, we'll see how it does. I go, by then I have forgotten it. We are an ADHD nation. I cannot help myself. My brain will be done with it. Like, honestly, by the time we're done with this conversation, I will probably already be on to the next thing. Like, the next thing I'm thinking about is lunch. 100%. So now I've got you doing shit like this where I go, I really just want to share this thing. Anyway, Tony, what is new with you? What have you been up to? First of all, I should compliment the backdrop behind you. Mario is welcoming me to your office here.
Well, thank you very much. Did a lot of work putting those up, collecting all these artworks from different conventions. I even got, who's that? Pikachu as Stitch and Stitch as the Crow.
Wait, what? Who's making that stuff? Like, who's crossing genres? Like, Pikachu doesn't need to be anything other than Pikachu.
That's what I thought too. I was at a convention and this guy had a whole booth of different Stitch like multiverse stuff. And I was like, wow, you really like Stitch? And the guy was like, I was on the storyboard for Lilo and Stitch. And
Oh,
I was like,
shit.
oh, cool. And he was like, I'm also a director. And me being nosy, I was like, what have you directed? And he goes, The Crow Part 4. And he said it really proudly, but I'm a huge Crow fan. So I go, The Crow Part 4. And he goes, yeah. And I go, Wicked Prayer. And you can see the fear in his eyes when I said the subtitle of the movie title. And he goes, ah. And I was like, starring Edward Furlong and David
Nah.
Boreanaz and Tara Reid. I was like, that movie fucking sucked. And then he put his head down to start laughing really hard. He was like, I know. He's like, it's all I had to work with. And I was like, I'll go ahead and buy the Crow one just because I like the Crow, but you got to sign it. And he signed it.
Tony, what are you doing going to conventions and being like, so did you work on Crow 4? Yeah, one sucked, dude. He's like, I know. McBain, your last movie sucked. I know. Like, what is happening to you? My child, why are you going up to a cause these poor people? And honestly, the way you tell the story, and I don't know if this is a reliable narrator here, the way you tell the story, it's like he was asking for it, being like, yeah, I'm a director. And you go, yeah, of what? Crow 4. Ha, that one sucked. I know, man.
I know.
Do you
Like,
want
it
a
wrote
fucking
itself.
thing or not? Do you want me to do one of these things for you? Here's Stitch as a fucking circus balloon. I don't know, man. Life's rough, bro. Leave me alone. Like, you went to go bully another dude.
Hey, I got $25.
You know what? Honestly, worth it. Shit. As a writer, I've always been jealous of artists because those who can sit down and draw something will always get paid. I don't know if people are going to come to a convention just to hear me go like, all right, I'll give you one page, but it's $50. And essentially, Batman's solving a crime and he needs help. The Riddler's getting at him, but the Joker's roasting him. And they're like, bro, this story sucks. I know, dude. Just give me the $50, man. I'm trying to bide my time here.
I need to eat today.
Is this the worst experience that you have had, though, going to a convention? Because it actually sounded like a very good one for you. But have you had other experiences at conventions? Because my convention experience is very limited. I can't even think of the last time I went to anything like that. But I've been around the element of it. And frankly, it scares me. So what is another memorable moment you've had as somebody who has perused the area if you're going to one of those conventions?
All right, I got 2 Power Ranger stories. Do you want the good one or the bad one?
Oh, the bad one. Why would you ever tease me with the good one?
Because it involved Jason David Frank. The good one did. Super nice guy. But
Okay.
I'll go to the bad one. So the bad one, I went to Phoenix Comic Con and I saw a booth that had like this really nice Red Ranger replica helmet. So I like sprinted 20 feet over to it and was like analyzing it and appreciating it. I was like, this is amazing. And I look up and there's like the guy behind the booth's like smiling at me. And I'm like, all right. So I keep looking at the helmet, look back up, and he's smiling at me. And I'm like, And then eventually the lady next to him is like, yup, that's really him. And I'm like, who, what? And she's like, yeah, it's the Red Ranger from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. And I was like, oh, cool. And then he was like, did you watch Lost Galaxy? So I was like, yeah. I sang the theme song like word for word, and he was like super impressed. And he was like, do you want a picture? I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, it's $25 for a picture of me, $50 for a selfie with me, and like $75 to do like some pose. And I was like, okay, my friend has my wallet, so let me go grab my money. And he's like, cool. They never saw me again.
I mean, I don't know that that's as bad as advertised, because I'm going to be honest, that you let him down nicely. I don't know how to thrive in that environment. I know it exists. I know even for pro wrestlers, it's a thing. I just never know what to do, because I went to a podcast listening and they were doing photos afterwards. I didn't want the photo. I just wanted to be like, hey, you guys are awesome. Okay, bye. Like, you do good work. I just want to tell you in person. And I had a question for one of the pro wrestlers. They were also a fellow huge Bret Hart fan. So I had asked them, I think, a Bret Hart question. I was like, what do you think about this? And they're like, oh my God. And they were stumped. They're like, shit. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. Fuck. And then they, like, their handlers were looking at me like, get in for the photo. And I was like, I don't, oh, fuck. So like, there's an awkward photo of me and I go, this is not what I want to do. And legitimately, because you are going for that connection, I'm just going to be like, I hope you feel that you do good work and awesome. And I get that these guys want photos because they're going to put it up. If I take a photo, you probably won't see it. So all of a sudden here I am being like, eh. And then I feel like I have probably more experience than most of these guys who are just hanging out here, because they go, listen, these guys don't pose for class photos like we do every single day. Because if you really take it apart, no grown people do photos as much as we do in jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm hard pressed to think of other sports, other businesses where you do as many selfies or group photos as we do in jiu-jitsu.
That's true. Can you imagine if a surgeon finished like a 13-hour surgery and they're like,
So this is how you can tell fellow nerds are watching. Bujigatami says, shout out to Majora's Mask back there, or Mayora's Mask back there. Underrated game for sure. Which one is the proper pronunciation on those two?
Majora.
So it is Majora. So you guys are all about, like, all of the J's have no rhyme or reason. It's just whatever we decide in the moment. Because guess who else is watching right now?
Jovakic.
Yeah. Mila Jovanovic is watching right now.
Mila Jovanovic. She's going to be in Resident Evil 13.
And then the weird part is, still not the government name on this goddamn thing. So every time I say it, I was like, hello, David. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Thank you, Brian, a real name, for watching, even though I know your shit. I got to laugh on that. So I think he appreciated that name. Good. All right, Tony, I will ask you one other thing. You know, you create a great channel on YouTube, and I want to see more of these, but on YouTube, you do breakdowns of fights.
Yes.
What are some that you've done for movies? And what are some that you would like to do that you haven't done yet? Like, are there some that you add in the back of your mind where you go, oh, that's kind of an endeavor. It might take a little bit of work. Like, that's my Avengers Endgame that I'd like to build up to. So what are some that you've done in the past, and what are the ones that you're looking to do?
I did a fight scene. I'll call it a fight scene from Too Fast, Too Furious with Paul Walker versus Tyrese, when they're just grappling in the sand, and Paul Walker, rest in peace, is doing like some of the worst open guard ever seen in my life.
He's a brown belt, sir. He is a legend in our sport. You leave him alone.
I said, forget about it, cuh.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know what the dumb part is? As soon as you opened your mouth and you said Fast and the Furious and Paul Walker, I realized we were in a race to get to that punchline. And I was trying to set you up so that I could get there first, but you were like, oh, not only am I going to respond, but I'm going to end with that as the tag. It's really annoying.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, dude, it is one of the moments in cinematic history that all of us collectively go, huh? And then years later go, remember when that happened? And we go, man, I tried to block that out. But man, now I want it every day.
Yeah, it's good. I also did a breakdown for Avengers Endgame, Captain America versus no, it wasn't Endgame. It was Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It was the final fight between Bucky and Steve Rogers, and I rewatched it like a few months ago, and there was a lot of jujitsu in there that I'd never noticed before. Like really strategically placed. I don't know who choreographed the movie, but there was some good there's a good Ippon Seonagi, there was a good armbar, there's a good rear naked choke with the arm trapped with like the reverse triangle. I was like, okay. But then at the end of the video, I start questioning Steve Rogers' his lineage, because he was frozen from like World War II all the way to like 2011, and I was like, no, I think it was frozen earlier than that. I think it was World War One, and I don't think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was introduced into America until the 60s. And so I was like, where did he get all those techniques
first of all, shut up, nerd. Second of all, Steve Rogers probably woke up from that whole nice little ice nap he took and probably goes, how's American Jiu-Jitsu coming along? And they're like, ooh, the Brazilians it's kind of their thing. They hold the marketing. He finds himself Keenan Cornelius and he's like, hey, how the fuck did you let this happen? Keenan's like, man, I'm trying. I was trying to make American Jiu-Jitsu happen. It's like, you failed. All these people know it is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I stole it from the Japanese and from judo, and I didn't do all that work for America for nothing, young man. So I'm pretty sure that's how that movie went.
Yeah, and also as soon as he was unfrozen, he looked at his phone and had 7,000 messages for BJJ Fanatics discounts codes. Every day there's a sale. Every day
There's a sale.
Every day. Is it really a sale if there's a sale every day?
Well, not every title's on sale every day, just most titles. And, if you do happen to have that promo code, you're okay. You know what it is? I think I have $50 off on something and I haven't used it. And I tried finding it and I realized oh, that's the racket. They literally beat me into not remembering where it is anymore. That I go, I want this. And then nothing is under $50. So you go, okay, how about if I use this code and then it's $50? And they go, you can't do that. And I go, fuck you. Who's got a $25 instructional? And then all of a sudden the best thing you can find is Nikki Rod's going green, Vegemite, like decisions. Yeah. And I go, I don't want anything like this. Especially like, I don't know if you felt this way, but Gordon's, what is it? Your revolution is my power. Like some Jane Fonda-esque name for his instructional that I go, no. On principle, no. I'm not buying whatever this is. It's like, your revolution is my revolution. I go, this is dumb. I don't want that. Because it's just like empowering messages. I go, dude, Gordon does not have empowering messages. If anything, it's just roasting you as to why you're the worst and not as good as him. So that was
even on the daily deals, I'm like, oh, I can buy something that's discounted and it's like Bernardo Faria's 7 ways to tape your fingers. And I'm like, oh, I don't need that. I don't want that.
It is, it is very much the Lee Trevino golf game. Yeah, you're right. All right. We've accomplished 4 different Simpsons references very quickly. But Tony, I want you to look at this. There are 6 topics on here, one of which you know about. The rest are all brand new to you. Are there any up here that strike fear in your heart?
Simply?
Okay. Simply is the one that you feel the most nervous about.
Yes.
Okay. Mm, you know what? I think you might do okay on Simply, honestly. So I wouldn't be too worried about that one. There are other ones you might need to be a little bit more cautious of. So where would you like to start, sir?
Let's start with bomb.
All right. So the way that this is going to work, once I press this button, you will see 60 seconds on the clock. You will have the remaining time after I finish reading the prompt to respond to the question, and the audience will judge you.
Okay.
There is no good way for it. They're just going to judge you, but that's it. All right. So we're going to start with bomb.
Yes, sir.
All right. Going in 3, 2. Dave Bautista says that he lost 50 pounds doing jiu-jitsu. My question to you, Tony, how did he do it?
50 pounds doing jiu-jitsu. Let's see. You know what? Jiu-jitsu comes with a lot of injuries. So I think when he was training, I think he trains under Matt Arroyo. He got injured and probably had to sit out and just deteriorated, lost all his mass, couldn't lift. I think that's it. He couldn't lift, so he couldn't keep his mass on.
He says that he did lose a lot of muscle mass, honestly. So you are partially correct on this. But for a person, do you think anybody you know would lose 50 pounds doing just jiu-jitsu?
Have you ever gotten a Naga belt? I think he probably cut like 5 weight classes just for the prestige.
I think one of my favorite things about this story was not only Batista being like, I lost 50 pounds, which is a great thing, but then ending it with it was muscle mass. Damn.
Muscle mass.
And, you know, he's like, it's okay. It's kind of cool. Like, it's no big deal. But in his head, I think he's looking back at some of his old videos going like, man, I had it all. Look at this entrance. Look at this machine gun shit. No one does that. Oh, yeah, I had all the pyro in the world. And now he's just like, and now I'm just some dude who waits for coffee. Oh, no, you haven't. You have not, David. He said, I've lost 50. I mean, I lost 50. From where?
Oh, when he was a white belt, David was like ultra heavy.
But how? That dude does nothing but eat in and out. So how are you
exactly
losing $50?
That's why.
No, this is not why. No one should be utilizing. This is what Joe Rogan does with his shit. Don't say he did. No. Listen, I need verifiable facts. And more importantly, when I see David talking about this, I don't want him to try and tell the youth that he's going to be able to do it through in and out excursions. Because the worst is when he's like, I had to get a protein style today. And I'm like, you could also take a day off.
And he's probably burning a lot of calories making memes, holding up the meme game. Yes. That guy posts like 10 times a day.
Never forget that my own whoop. This strap is like, are you memeing? Where is it? And it says, do we need to dig out the old pic? I'm sure you do. I just want to know how long it took. And more importantly, when Batista says that, and he says he lost 50 pounds, like, I'm not talking a David journey of maybe it took 6 months or maybe it took X many days. I'm pretty sure you're seeing Batista go, yeah, dude, it took like 2 years for that to happen. And it says calories are calories. Eat cake, lose weight. This is a terrible take inside BJJ. All of you guys worry me. This is why we're in such an epidemic for our health crisis. Let's do this. I'm going to give you my response on how I think Dave Bautista was able to lose it. So let's go back here and take the camera off of you and back onto me. Listen, Dave Bautista's been tested. Anybody who's watched WWE knows that man was an excellent champion. But to say that you lost 50 pounds from jiu-jitsu, what's the secret, Dave Bautista? Because I've been doing jiu-jitsu for over 10 years, and I still have not lost 50 pounds. In fact, I'm lucky if I lose 5 pounds doing jiu-jitsu. And that's when people are doing nothing but murdering me. And I want to tell you this. I know you said that you lost some muscle mass. Well, welcome to jiu-jitsu. That's exactly what happens, dude. For whatever reason, we work out and we get weaker unless you use the thing. Wink. And everybody knows that acai that you use if you are in jiu-jitsu can be very helpful. So Hopefully you feel healthier though, and we're glad to have you because it's actually pretty dope that we get Dave Bautista doing jiu-jitsu, if we're being honest. And not for nothing, Dave, we want to see you use some more jiu-jitsu in your movies. You mean to tell me that there's not a second in My Spy we couldn't see a triangle choke or a head and arm choke? I think Dave Bautista's head and arm choke has to be pretty devastating. So if we can make that happen, we would love that. And you are an excellent brown belt. We appreciate you, sir. So I feel like we've done that one service. So we have taken bomb and we have done that one. Where would you like to go next, Tony?
Did you get these words out of a Zach De La Rocha word generator?
Yes.
Lyrics?
You know, he has to make money somehow. He's not doing anything with Rage, so he's just giving me a lot of... You know what it is? I outsource this to him. It's a lot of talk about politics, and you can't deny the work that comes out of it, but it's a lot of angry phone calls. Like, if we get on a conference call, I'm going to hear a lot about Cuba for no reason at all.
There's a convention where Zach De La Rocha has a booth just charging people for lyrics.
It's just him yelling, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me." And you go, "Okay, man, can we get a photo?"
Here's $50. Thanks.
Fine. Here you go. All right, sir, where are we going next?
Why?
Okay. Why it is. My question to you, why do BJJ guys hate wrestlers using wrestling in BJJ so much?
BJJ guys don't like losing. They don't like losing. So you know this, you've seen it at the gym. Any reason they find why they're losing, it can't be their fault. Whether it's some guys stronger than them, some guys way too flexible, but the wrestlers, I come from a wrestling background. It's just a different kind of mentality, I guess. We just see red. No, cut that. But no, it's just, I don't know. It's just the humble aspect of jiu-jitsu of, I'm humble, I'm going to train this technique, and then all of a sudden some high school wrestler shows up and just mauls a guy, and they just can't accept it.
So let's take this back a second. What is the best excuse, or what is the best remark after someone has gotten submitted that you've heard in your time?
I'll use some of the ones I use. Sometimes I'll roll with like blue belts from different gyms, and if they give me a run for my money, I'm always like, did you wrestle? Or they're like, are you getting promoted anytime soon? Your instructor needs to stop holding you back, just to make myself feel good.
I do a little bit of the I do a little bit of the like, well, I'm very old, so I'm in the good space of like, I don't think the 25-year-old version of me would give them a run for their money. I actually don't subscribe to that all the time. I'm like, I don't know that I'm better than I was when I was 25. I was definitely more in shape then, but I don't even know that guy was smart enough to beat some of these people. So sometimes people will be like, oh, but you know what, Raph, I'm sure if you were that young. And I'm like, I don't know. You need to go back and see that guy. But what I do like to tell people is I go, listen, I'm old, you're young. That's really what it comes down to. I should be judged on a handicap score. So even. That's usually about as far as I go. But I'll give you my response here in just a second. But before I do, I just love the fact that you yourself have observed this from people who are wrestlers, and you were noting that you like it as an observer to see when wrestlers are utilizing wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and people go like, you can't do that. But when jiu-jitsu guys do it, you were saying that you believe like, wow,
they get the
look
praise.
at how far he's come.
Praise. Yeah. They get jiu-jitsu guys that utilize wrestling and jiu-jitsu matches get the praise. They get the worship. You hear the commentators like, he's such an aggressive wrestler. He gets all the takedowns. He's So he's so on it, and then all of a sudden, like a week later, the BJJ Fanatics, how to wrestle up or wrestling to win. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then you have like a wrestler go into a jiu-jitsu tournament and does good, and people are like, all he did was wrestle.
You can't tell me there's not a moment where you did one good thing that kind of surprised you and that you didn't become king of that one move at your gym for that week. Because occasionally what happened to me, I think it's probably how I fell into footlocks, where people were like, oh my God. And I go, yeah. And they go, so you're really good at these? I go, sure. Yep. And then all of a sudden I became the leg lock guy, and somebody's like, how do you hit a knee bar? And I go, You know what I mean? Like, I don't really use knee bars. I don't think they work that well. I'm more on the footlock side because I think I go with something more tired and true. They're just like, okay, cool. Yeah, knee bars are kind of like lame, huh? Yup, real lame. Never get caught with them. Promise you that. So it's kind of been my approach to it. I'll tell you my variation right now. All right. So if we're really trying to get to the who, what, where, when, and why of this, why is it that jiu-jitsu people hate wrestlers using wrestling in BJJ so much? Well, one, it's kind of cheating. Let's be honest. We should be starting on our knees. I know a lot of you guys are like, nah, I'm going to be tough. I'm going to stand up with this person. The whole purpose of jiu-jitsu is to utilize a different skill to beat other people who are good at other skills. So when you start trying to be like, I'm going to be a better wrestler than them, good luck with that. And I don't know if you've met wrestlers. They have nothing but energy for days. You know why? Because they drill and they don't give a shit. And some of you are like, drilling doesn't work. Sounds good. Go to a wrestling room and tell them not to drill. Tell them not to utilize that sort of training and see how that works. And finally, I like to do this with wrestlers. I like to take away their superpower because they're so intense. Teach them jiu-jitsu techniques and then give it right back to them, because nothing is worse than somebody with a gas tank who's learned the technique and now knows how to like murder you. So that has been something that I do. But every wrestler is always the same. When I go, you need to stop being a spaz, and they go, okay. And then they continue to spaz, and I go, you are still spazzing. And they go, I don't think so, coach. And I go, you are a spaz. This is not up for debate. I have branded you a spaz. You are. And then at the end of it, they're like, I didn't know. And then maybe a year and a half later, they're like, dude, I see what I was doing. And I go, you're lucky you made it. So
they only got one speed. They
only got one speed. But you know what? I feel like I am usually the right coach for that task, because I go, hey, you're going to be a great weapon once you know what you're doing. Like, come here, I'll teach you all the things. But if you're rolling with me and you roll like that, there was one guy who I worked with, and I kept telling him, I was like, hey man, you're a little bit bigger than me and you're going crazy intense. That's fine if you're wrestling with other people. If you're going to wrestle with me, I will warn you, the jiu-jitsu round is not going to go very friendly. Like, the jiu-jitsu round with me tends to be friendly. So someone's going to look at you and kind of wonder what you did. And he started wrestling a little bit smoother after that. So we ran into a good thing there. So I would say that. But you did pitch that topic. Why is that a near and dear topic to you, sir?
As someone that comes from a wrestling background, I don't like the judgment or the discrimination. What would it be considered? Discrimination? Judgment?
I mean, I kind of feel
it feels like that. Did you ever watch Chappelle Show?
Yes.
You remember when he was a blind black white supremacist?
Yes, I do remember that.
And they were all shocked that he was black at the end. That's how I feel with like watching a jiu-jitsu match. Let's say you take a jiu-jitsu match, like a super fight.
I don't know that one works. I think of all the metaphors you could have come up with. You're like, it's very similar how I myself align with that Chappelle sketch. You remember when he was the black guy who was in the Klan? Yeah, exact same. And I go, no, I don't think so. I think that one might be different. You know what it is? Hold on. Let me see. What do I have? I know there are sounds that I have on this show that I don't use. I think there are a few that I should be able to use that are, yep, that's it. So, you know what I mean? Like, if you ask me a certain thing, like, hey, I think this is no, I don't think so. I don't think that's the right one. Try again. So we're going to probably start utilizing that one a little bit more because I've noticed that some of these are of more use to me, especially if I'm saying that Tony's website is essentially a little bit more of a fanfic pick page for Pikachu. And then I've got those sort of things in the background to punch. That'll be fine. But some of these I don't know what to do because the fuck am I going to do with a glockenspiel? And then Timpani roll, which is actually, that one might come in handy a little bit later. So anyway, okay. But nonetheless, if you do try to tell me this again and you're like, it's like that Chappelle. No, absolutely not. So we will utilize some of these sounds a little bit more. Rather than let you kind of bury yourself a little bit deeper with that metaphor, why don't we go to another topic? Tony, where would you like to go next?
Let's go award.
Award it is. Tony, I ask you this question. Since we will never get any love from the Emmys, create one award you would give to someone in jiu-jitsu for excellence.
For excellence? Does it go for meme pages or like jiu-jitsu the sport?
You can pick whatever you want here, sir.
I think Flow Grappling, right, does their own award show. So I think we need to give back to the meme pages again. I remember me and a bunch of meme pages like 5 years ago I think we called it the memes, where we gave out awards for different memes, like best video, best meme page. So yeah, I think especially nowadays with TikTok and Instagram, it's like everyone's a comedian now. Everyone's doing videos, so I guess that needs to be awarded.
Okay.
Get the recognition.
Okay, so much like the criticism that people give the Oscars and the Emmys, it's that we don't applaud ourselves enough. Okay, good. We've learned. I would say this. There is something that I do find with our sport, which is whenever we do this stuff, like there's no sports Emmys for us. There's no recognition in our world. And I know you mentioned the Flow Awards that they give, kind of the end of the year stuff, but I'm talking like actual recognition. Not just some guys who got together and go like, hey, let's give our buddies like this thing because this dude like did a video for us. So we should give him like the Sportsman of the Year award. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these things are kind of BS. So as a person, I love award shows, by the way. I enjoy them. I think it is a cool way to give recognition to people. Yes, you can obviously campaign too much and buy them and it's corrupt and blah, blah, blah. But at its essence, there is not a single person here who would ever turn down an opportunity to be recognized at what they're good at. When people proudly put up their Salesman of the Month award, they are doing the same thing that they criticize George Clooney when he gets an Oscar for a very good movie. It's just the idea that sometimes people don't like their art and commerce to intermix. So they start bitching about it and they're like, that dude doesn't deserve this. So whatever. Let me give you my answer. This is what I would say to you off of this one. All right. If we're looking to give ourselves awards and it's not giving certain people from meme pages some extra love and whatnot, I would say this. I feel like we need to start going outside of the best submission, best match of the night sort of realm. I think we need to start giving out best fashion. I think we need to start giving out best overall YouTube page. I think best instructional would be a very competitive field, and watch these guys campaign for it in a way that's worse than any award show you have ever seen, be it Oscars or Emmys. There would be a for your consideration ad. And could you imagine Bernardo yelling out, I approve of this message, and like legitimately at the end of all of those, that would be worth its weight in gold. So that is what I say to you. Best instructional. Watch how competitive that gets.
Who would win for best fashion?
I've got some people, and you know what? I'm going to be real honest. There are a few nominees. So David Garmo's up there. And David Garmo got a very big shout out. And this is how you can tell our sport is starting to grow. He got a shout out from Ronnie Chang, who is part of the Daily Show. And I know he's training more. So that means there's always the possibility that Ronnie Chang is going to run into our nonsense. I think I'm almost going to guarantee he's liked one of your things. Having said that, he said in his true Ronnie Chang way, wow, you are obviously the best or most fashionable person in jiu-jitsu, which honestly is not a high bar. And he's not wrong on that. So it is a perfect joke. And honestly, it is indicative of somebody who is immersed in the culture and is learning it very well. But don't overlook my man, one, Kyle Chambers. I think Garmo and Chambers are two easy nominees. And then I feel like you got to nominate a third person that just counterbalances all their stuff, like a regular Joe that just wears like a tatami, like just a regular shirt, and just comes in and they're like, wait, we're in the same field as this guy. And it's like, yeah, JT Torres is regular lounge gear. He's up there, bro. Like just JT Torres putting on like what is it, a beanie would just be like, oh my God, it's Malibu Stacy. She put on a new hat. And you go, yep, that's that.
But she's got a new hat.
That is still my favorite.
She's got a new hat.
By the way, since we're on a run, I can only do this with so many people, and you are one of the people I know I can do it too. I've lifted but modified the joke that I die laughing from every time in that episode. Whenever they go to Malibu Stacy's creator and they go, you could fix things. If you made the decision, she would have to do stuff completely differently. And Kathleen Turner, as the Malibu Stacy creator, goes, I can't. I'm too drunk. And I take that so many times when people ask me to fix things. I'm just like, I can't. I'm too drunk. And they always go, damn. Is that from The Simpsons? I go, it's from me lifting it from The Simpsons. Yes. So technically both. It's a handoff they did to me. Tony, where are we going next, sir?
Let's do Simply.
Simply it is. Tony, name the best meme that you've recently seen that you did not create.
Whoa. Oh my God. What the heck? Now you make me draw a blank.
Tony, no. What do you look at other people's memes? You steal half of their material. You steal my material half the time too.
It's my jiu-jitsu name is Carlos Mencia.
Oh, I hate it so much.
No, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of good memes. But lately, the things I've been seeing good is from Jove Cage. Jove KJ, Shark Pit with some good stuff, and Flying Meme Bars. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head that made me, I don't know. It's too late in the day for me. Jove Cage.
So sorry. You know, the way you say that now has me thinking. Every time I want to reference it, like, man, what you were just talking about reminded me of the movie Face Off. Do you know why?
Why?
That one great actor, Jove Cage. Oh, love him. Jove Cage. I mean, his early work was really good. He won the Oscar and then he got crazy. But Jove Cage in Con Air, so good. So good.
Long hair. Well, I thought of a good video. All right.
What is that?
I saw it. There's a video posted when this guy got promoted to blue belt and all his other higher ranks came up to him and they're like, it's time. And he added BJ Day to his Instagram handle. That was a really good video. I was like, dang, that was really good.
I'm glad that it speaks well for our community that you're like, a good meme that I didn't make. Dave, he did one. There was one. It was real good. And it
had captions. It had a picture.
The worst part is I was thinking, I was like, maybe he'll figure out a caption or a picture soon. Like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
It's like remember that episode of The Simpsons, the camping trip for the Boy Scouts, I think?
Yeah.
I think it was Homer stole that pocket knife from Ernest Borgnine, was it?
Yes.
And he's like fighting a bear. He's like, "Don't worry, kids, I'll fight him with my trusty." And he's like searching for his pocket knife. That's how I felt when you put me on the spot.
You know, it's tough because honestly, it is difficult to go off memory for some of these, but I just feel that you're so much more immersed in that world that it should be within you. Like, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but sometimes I see like the good first draft of a meme that they have put up and I go, oh, that's draft one. Revise that and that's fucking money. But then I'm like, I don't know this person. I don't feel comfortable just sending them a message and being like, hey, try harder or try again. I feel like all that's dick move. So I just go like, eh. And that's why I don't get shared. So that is.
But then you get pissed off when I put it on stories, but not make it shareable.
Listen, it is a perfectly reasonable thing to want to give my friends credit. And then when you don't do it, you make it that much harder for me to just say like, hey, Tony has a good page. Maybe you should go see it. Yeah, it's got a lot of anime and a concerning amount of Pokemon shit on there. But it is generally funny. And instead, I have to do the thing where I screenshot it, I put it on my stories, and good luck if I give you credit or not. Because at this point, it is just eating up my time. Memes are designed to just be like, is it up to the world? Not, who made that? Did you? And because then the other question I have to make is, did you make this? And I hate asking that because I should just know that. And when people start doing their memes, I have been one of the people who notoriously goes after them and says, put your branding on there. I don't know who the fuck you are. You're very funny. Give me a chance to share it. And my favorite people are the people you know who are going to be memers who go, oh, I don't know. I'm just doing this because I just felt compelled to do it. And you go, you're a fucking memer and you're going to be a memer in like 2 weeks. Just fucking say it. Say you want to do it. I don't know. I just sometimes make little funny things. For the love of God, share your fucking meme. Tell me what the fuck your name is. If it's yours, I want to give you credit. If it's not, I don't want to give you credit. Great. Done. So that is the unfortunate thing I run into. Let me just say this. Okay. So we have very nicely exhausted that concept. I will give you one that has at least kind of gotten a chuckle out of me, which honestly is as good as a hearty laugh on this side of the world. So
Matt Hardy?
Yes, Matt Hardy indeed. Delete indeed. Lots of delete. So coming through this way, I will go to that one. All right, taking the camera off of Tony, back to me. What is a meme that made me laugh that I didn't know actually came from somebody? I have to say this. This one was shareable. And it was when the higher ranks are talking about techniques and theory, and I try to add to the conversation. And it was the Channing Tatum, my name is Jeff, which for whatever reason does me in every single time. Like, my wife loves that movie a lot and definitely loves Channing Tatum in it. And it is hard not to love that dude in that role. But my name is Jeff is the world's most perfect response. And it was coupled nicely, and that was from one Happy Rolling BJJ. So that was very good. And you know what? It was shareable. Take that lesson because you could actually fucking share it, Tony. There you go.
You know, it sucked. I had such high hopes for that meme. Like, I was laughing the whole time, and it was like doing good on stories. I'm like, all right. I posted it, and it like didn't even get 100 likes. Like, for 2 days, I was like,
You know
what
what?
in the?
That should teach you. It's probably because you shared it on your stories and you burned your goodwill. And then the rest of the world was like me. I think they're learning what I've learned, which is that's good. I really like that. Will you share it now? No, I will not, sir. All right, where would you like to go? There's 2 left on the board here, sir.
Let's go reserve.
Reserve it is. Although the rosters for ADCC and CJI seem to be complete, make your case for who should be on the reserve lists for both of those organizations. Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen those ADCC promos lately for who's competing now? A lot of people, I don't even know who they are. Like, I mean, I think the other day they put like the acai bowl stand worker competing at 66 kilo. I was like, who is that? It's always like these weird people. But let's see. I think Mikey pulled out a CJI. Is Keith Krikorian? Is he
He's
making his way back to
ADCC.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, he needs to be there. Gorilla Hands switched over to. I don't know. You don't give me a lot of options.
You have all the options of everybody who does jiu-jitsu. You could have said yourself.
Why would I go out there?
I don't know, dude. Because listen, if you did the Craig Jones Invitational, you'd get 10K. And I got news for you. You're not getting 10K for one meme. Like, this is what? About 200 Comic-Con appearances for you of signing things in one time you would show up. I'm just saying, I'm giving you options here, sir.
The one time I show up to ADCC and start critiquing Mo, like I critiqued the guy from The Crow. Where are we at? That way.
Oh, don't worry. That would go alarmingly well. I think you're referring to whenever they put on the descriptions. It's pretty easy to go. Gordon Ryan returns, a multi-time winner here at ADCC, a legend, and always gives you thrilling moments at ADCC. And by the time they're now starting to run out of adjectives and verbs, they go, this guy, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what he is or what he does. But August 17th and 18th over at the T-Mobile Arena. And you go, bro, at least try on some of these. Because especially when they go, he was in attendance at trials.
He was third in line at the hot dog stand.
Did I tell you that I think the joke I had was, I think at some point they're going to go into the audience and they're going to tell you to look under your seat and you're like, shit, I'm in. Oh, fuck, man. I wasn't planning to compete at ADCC. And they're like, sorry, bud, you're in 99 kg. You already made weight. You just got to go. And they're like, fuck, man. Can I warm up? Nope. You're already up right now. So we're gonna DQ you if you try to get out of it. And it's like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Yep, that's just how the rules go. ADCC is different this year.
I did a sort of homage to the ADCC promo videos. I don't know if you saw, like I think a month ago, I did one for the Boston knee bar guy. I did a highlight reel for him. They're saying he's appearing at CJI.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, I think I saw it, but I didn't hang around for that one. Because anytime I see the knee bar guy, I go, oh, is it that time of year again where people remember it's knee bar guy? And there's just an audience that craves greatest hits. So there's an audience that's just like, give me my free bird. And I try not to be the I'm Rick James bitch of jiu-jitsu. So when people are like nose beers, I go, it's just Craig Jones, guys. Just let him live. You're turning him into say the line, Bart.
Yeah, say the damn line. Nope, only I may dance.
Only I again. Conan O'Brien doing that as a kid blew my mind because I was like, how's Conan O'Brien here? And then all of a sudden it's like he wrote here and I go, oh no, he didn't. No, what a fucking legend. I think he was saying now the joke for Conan, I think on one of his things that he goes, that's going to be the 4th thing on my tombstone, because he clearly knows it's like podcaster, SNL, late night host, Simpsons, you know? And so now I think he's trying to say like, nah, that's going to be the 4th part on my tombstone. And I laugh profusely every time I hear him say something to that effect. Let me just give you my thing. Okay, so We just talked about what is this? Reserve. Okay.
Reserve.
Reserve it is. All right, so folks, let's just say this. If we're looking to fill out the reserves, I think you would do well to go with John Blank. John Blank is one of those guys. Thor, he's amazing at what he does. He has beaten some people. Kyle Chambers should be in that because Kyle Chambers was like, did you pick these people when I've beaten them? Sus. I think you would do well to kind of keep those guys in mind. They got Brandon Reed, which actually was very interesting because I wasn't sure if they would have notes on him. So props on that one. And honestly, I think one of the things you probably want to keep here is why not put some of these MMA guys who don't have fights, who are thirsty right now and saying like, man, I wish I could fight. Like get those guys as your reserves because for CJI, at the very least, it looked like they said, who are some random wrestlers that are good that we don't know anything about, but they took one jiu-jitsu class. So you could also get some wrestlers there too. That is my favorite part about the Craig Jones Invitational. They're like, we have it so locked down. Oh, for the love of God, help us for the last one. We have no idea. We forgot it's 16. Shit. Do you want to do it? Like that's what it got down to. And then Greg at the very end telling you like, you guys really sucked giving me somebody. So we just picked this guy is like my guy. Please, for the love of God, just, you don't even have to justify it. Just say we picked this motherfucker and you'll learn about him.
He never said where he got the money from, right? The investor. You know, it'd be funny if this CJI, like if it does really bad and it just a bunch of dudes in suits take him away, put a black bag over his head and just disappears into the shadows.
I mean, I will say this. If anybody has any wits about them, they will have no expectations for jiu-jitsu to get a return on their dollar. They're going to be like, you know what? This was burning money. I literally could have put it in a fire, same result. So I don't think they have any moral high ground to go off of here. All right, sir, we are at the last one. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
All right, sir. I need you to rank the following Pokemon based off of who is most likely to podium at the IBJJF. And your Pokemon are Charizard, Squirtle, Pikachu, and Snorlax. This is based from worst to best on who would podium at IBJJF.
All right. So out of those four, I don't even care about the other three, but number one, if that's Ash's Pikachu, I'm going to say he's going to rank first. He has the best chance of ranking first. Then we can go Squirtle second, then Snorlax third, and Charizard the worst. And the reasoning is Ash's Pikachu is the biggest sandbagger in competition history. Biggest sandbagger. You know how long Pokemon's been on? That particular Pikachu has all those experience points and has never once evolved. That's like equivalent of Blue Belts winning worlds. Blue Belt.
So, okay. Does this also rank with your ranking of them as just Pokemon, or is there a different ranking as just Pokemon here?
I think if they're all Ash's Pokemon, like that Pikachu, yeah, he's ranked the best because he's a sandbagger. Squirtle, he has authority issues, so he's probably not going to listen to his coach. Snorlax, he's probably sleeping in the bullpen and didn't make weight. And Charizard, same thing. Charizard's got coach and daddy issues. He ain't listening. There's even documented footage when Charizard faced Magmar. Oh, sorry. I'm getting all nerdy.
Go
Charizard
ahead.
Faced Magmar,
this is for you.
He just stopped listening. No, I think it was in the Pokemon League. The Pokemon League battle. Like, it's pretty much the IBJJF Worlds of Pokemon. Charizard just stopped listening and like went out of bounds.
Wait,
like, oh my God.
You can do that? And also, who's creating the rules for these Pokemon?
That's a good question.
Legitimately, what kind of bullshit rules do we have for these guys? Who are the people creating it? Like, who are the people going like, oh, that's a reap? Like, Do they have those sort of dumb rules for these dumb animals?
I don't know, but I heard in the Japanese version they're supposed to fight to the death, which makes a lot more sense. So I wonder if it's even more like if the rules are even more distinct in Japanese.
So did characters die in the Japanese version?
That's what I heard.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How the fuck are you selling shit if you're like, is it just more of a collectible where you go, well, Snorlax dead, so go get that one right now, kids. And then what kind of shit are you treating for these children to be like, hey, he didn't die. He's just taking a prolonged siesta. Anyway, here's a new one. This one's cute. It's kind of a cat. Do you like that one? And I guess this is what I should be asking here. And I realize this is probably the worst thing I could be asking you. What is the deal with the Mewtwo, and why is that a thing, and why do people love it so much, and why, like, Mewtwo is not a real name, so I want to be clear on that. It's I always want to say Meowtwo, and I don't know if I'm the
He's
only.
actually based. The design is based off a cat. So
That's
Mew,
fine, but it's meow
meow.
for cats,
Yeah.
not mew. Mew is like mildew, but you just forgot how to spell it and ran out of letters on tiles for like Scrabble. Like, what is this deal? Because I think when I was looking up the rankings, he was put as one of the top ones in every single thing.
Well, I'll give you the Pokemon lore. Is there's a ancient Pokemon named Mew, and the scientist in Pokemon thought it'd be a good idea to try to clone him. So that's why they just named him Mewtwo. So he's a failed clone, and I think his existence, he hates mankind. Gets pretty, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we spent that time doing that. All right. Let me just tell you this. I know alarmingly little about all of these. So I will do a proper ranking just based off of looks alone. Okay, here we go. First things first. This dude has fire on his fucking tail. I don't know how you don't at least give him third. I'm going to tell you this right now. This dude is too happy. He's just happy to be there. So Squirtle is going out. Like, he's got that, like, wide-eyed, hey, I can do it. He's going to get taken down very quickly. Fire's got to at least go third, even though he's got authority issues. But you've seen those people do well with authority issues. Now here's where things get tricky. I have to move him here, even though he's beloved. He's going to have one of those moments where it's a Keenan thing where he should win, but he doesn't. How do you not understand that Snorlax is going to lose? Like, he's not going to lose the absolute. You are looking at your absolute champ here. He's going to Gabby Garcia his way to an absolute championship. And that has to be the ranking.
I'm gonna have to send you some Pokemon episodes.
I'm not going to watch any of them. This is based off of pure looks alone. I will go into my ignorance on all of these. You cannot factually tell me, like, well, actually, Raph, we've run these before and this is how they go. No, it's a cartoon. It is designed to just be theoretical. All of this is theoretical until you produce a real Pokemon for me in real life that is not played by Ryan Reynolds. Then maybe I will consider it. But until then, I will just tell you, my version of this is these kids. And why is he so happy? And like when they do that little dance thing and there's 40 of them, you know that this dude is going to disappoint his whole crew. This fire right here, like, yeah, maybe he's got some authority issues, but he has fucking fire on a tail. And from my limited research, he did evolve, which is something that most people don't do in jiu-jitsu. So there is that. Pikachu should be your best MVP all around. It's just he's going to get screwed by a decision because everybody knows who he is. You know it's going to fuck him in the end, and you're going to get really mad because you're like, oh, I was so invested in his story. He had flow grappling behind him the whole time, and yet it just didn't come together in the end. And then Fatty Magoo over here, he's going to wake up just in time to win his division. And listen, he's got it down to a science. You sleep before you compete. he's already ahead of the game. So that is how I see all of this going.
Pikachu's weakness is ground.
What does that mean? Like, what? How is that his weakness? What does that mean?
He sucks at jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay. So great. There's an episode where they do jiu-jitsu, or he's tumbling a little bit, or maybe he doesn't have a good seatbelt grip because he doesn't have fucking long arms.
Let's go against a wrestler. Gets mad because they just keep using the wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. Snorlax has that old wrestler build. So of course we did get comments on this. It says Snorlax getting DQ'd for juicing. Rude. And it says Pikachu is the guy with only one move, but he does it to perfection. Tony?
That's very true.
And then
one attack.
Bujigatami says Ash almost never wins tournaments, to be honest.
He's won one tournament, and it took him like 30 years,
I think. Oh, my God. I think I saw something to that effect. Has Ash died?
Do you want to know some more lore?
Sure.
Supposedly, he's supposed to be in a coma, supposedly, and everything is just happening in his head.
Yeah, that checks out, actually. That one I kind of believe, because it takes someone in a coma to invent all of these absurd animals and for everybody to just go along with it. But here's the real sad story. If in the lore he has a coma, then what the fuck is wrong with all of us for indulging that coma in real life and going like, this thing's so cute. How much more money can I give it? Do you know how much money? It is the top franchise in the world. I was looking at biggest franchise about a month ago, and I think that it beats the Nintendo world of like characters and all of that. Like, that's how much money that it is ingested over the years. So there is that.
Good franchise. You want to know a really bad fact about Pokemon?
Ugh, yeah, sure, whatever.
There's no animals in the Pokemon universe.
What?
There's no animals. No animals exist. No birds, no dogs, no cats, no bears. Everything's a Pokemon.
Aren't the Pokemon the animals?
Yeah. So what are the humans eating for meat?
Are they eating the Pokemon?
Pikachu burgers.
Oh my God. I mean, I think it would be pretty good. Because you figure there's good meat on those bones. And, I'm sure he electrocutes himself, so he probably fries pretty quickly. Yeah, okay. I mean, listen, don't mock it till you try it. Tony, when we make it all the way through the 6 topics, the very last thing we do is we turn it over to you. So is there anything that you have as a question? Because some of these were meant to trip you up a little bit, but to get something out of you that is outside of the norm of regular jiu-jitsu. So is there a question you'd like to throw back to me, or a prompt that you would like me to respond to that you feel could trip me up, or that in a similar way to the way I catered a question to you about Pokemon and discovered all of your nerdiness, that you would like to do with me?
Yes. How long have I known you now?
Oh God, it's been a decade, I think.
Jeez, a long time.
I know. It's getting there.
Has there ever been a time where I've actually Carlos Mencia'd a meme from you?
You know what? Honestly,
Be honest.
I think that you might have been influenced by one or two. But here's what happens that I don't know if you sense in this world. I think what happens is, amongst memers, one person will go, you know what? I was just watching Street Fighter this week. Here's the jiu-jitsu joke. Somebody looks at it and says, ha, that's pretty good, but I got a better one. And then all of a sudden, for a week, everybody's doing Street Fighter 2 jokes. And you go, but I was the one to come up with the Street Fighter 2 jokes. Why did everybody start suddenly doing this? And everybody's doing the same joke. And before you know it, it's the meme template. In the past, though, I have been very happy to know that you've been like, yo, can you send me that template? And I'm like, sure, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. It's more so that there were a couple word for words that I was like, Tony, what is this? And it got worse when it was ones that I was like, I know he didn't steal this one from me, but it's the same joke. And then you were the one being like, oh, I'm in seeing that. And then you started doing like the dude in the yellow jacket behind the tree. And I go, bro, I don't know, man. And I have to say, like, as somebody who's gotten less and less memes out per capita per year, I feel like right now I'm in a space where I'm like, if I'm chiming in, I feel it's got to be worth my time. But now all of my time is spent doing videos like this, different shows, doing interviews. That, like, if I think of something, it's got to be very quick and output there. But yeah, I think that's it. But I don't know that you've intentionally tried to kill any of my jokes. I just know that you've made it a point of when you put something up that I go, Tony, what is this? And you go, oh, and I go, no, ow. Do another joke. Don't do this one. This one's mine. But I have seen people in the past. I've seen people take off our watermark. I've seen people reshare the exact same meme or repurpose the joke or whatever.
Caption.
Yeah, like there's been stuff where I just go like, huh, that one sucks. That one's ours. So I've just always tried to do what feels like authentically us, so that it's hard to do it. Like, I don't know. Now it's commonplace for people to do pro wrestling things. But I was like, yo, 10 years ago, none of you nerds admitted you like pro wrestling. I know that for sure. And now I see it as like a very commonplace, like, did you guys see what happened? I go, oh, okay. So now everybody's fan, huh? Okay, cool. You weren't there during the real bad Super Cena years. Ooh, okay. Yep. That's how I know that meme came from you. So, yeah, I mean, but yes, I think you were asking this so that your lawyer and your team can try and get me on blast. You have definitely copied things. Nope. Still, you'll notice it was very walked back. Of none of that relieves you of any lawsuits that will be brought forth from the Grappling Hour Industries.
Yeah, if you could just say today's date and your first and last name, please.
I would ask you this. Is there anybody that has ever stolen one of your jokes? And I know it's not me.
All the time.
Like, what is the reaction when they steal your joke? Like, do you send it to the meme group and go like, what the fuck? Can you guys believe this? Or do you just have to internally take it? Because I think that's the worst thing about it is I would have somebody steal my joke and there's nobody I can go to. Like, it's not like me and my wife talk about it at home and I go, damn, the community stole another one from me. So, like, what do you do when that happens?
It's changed over the years. Yeah, there's been times you talked about it before where someone's taken off your watermark, which is a lot of work. A lot of work. It's more work to do that versus just to credit somebody. Like there's sometimes I've in the past, like 8 years ago, I'd call them out. Usually nowadays, I just kind of vent to somebody about it. Like I'll talk to Jovkaji. Is that how you pronounce it?
Just
Jove Cage. I'd be like, look, they stole a meme. Or like, pronounced differently every time.
It's just,
Yeah.
Jove Kaji, by the way, is something that you were like, hey, is the Jove Kaji gone bad in the fridge? I think you should throw that out.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just vent to him, be like, look, they crossed out our watermarks. Because he'll send me stuff too, be like, they stole my meme. Or they like took the same image and rewrote the same caption and put their watermark on it. And I'm like, geez. But I don't know. It just, some people are just not as creative. That's actually one of the reasons I do use a lot of anime stuff. Because besides like Jabkaji, I think that's how you pronounce it, Jove Cage. Besides him, he's like the only other person using anime templates, because in the past there would be, I don't know, let's say a hot template would be out, and like all the pages would use it, and then of course everyone has like the same kind of humor or same approach. Let's say it's like a an image of Hugh Jackman with claws, everyone's gonna go toward the when you roll with the guy that won't cut his nails,
Yeah,
and then like 10 different pages posted, and all of a sudden people are like, I posted it first. I posted it first. No one's gonna do that to me if I post a Pikachu meme.
I mean, God, I don't know how many people I've done this to, but I definitely, when I've seen somebody else put a Pokemon and a Pikachu specifically meme, I'm like, you cannot do that. That is legal property of Happy Rolling. And they're like, well, and I go, no, just that dude is dressed up as a Pikachu. I think he thinks he's a Pikachu. I can't prove it. It's not your material. And like, I feel like that's even a stronger connection than my shit with pro wrestling, where I was like, oh, we were doing this. And now when I see people do it, I go, oh, well, it's the culture now. So now all these nerds are suddenly seeing the memes and going like, man, I love RKOs. And you go, yeah, that's part of pro wrestling. Okay, cool. But I think what happens is this. I think it's a testament to the sport's growth is that to us, some of these things have seemed a little bit more mundane, or we've seen that joke before, but to them, it's the first time they get that joke just in a modern context. So I think the thing that was upsetting me was I go, I can't keep doing the same joke. Like, I don't want to do a blue belt joke today. I'm not in the mood. And I think if you do something daily and you make it a goal to try and put one up daily, depending on who you are, it can become monotonous of, is this, what is this? This is a first time you're in the bullpen. No, it's not that one. It's nails. No, it's not that one. First time you get hit.
Smelly geek guy.
Smelly geek guy. Yep, it's smelly geek guy day. Okay, got it. There you go. Smelly geek guy day. Post that up. Man, can't believe that one dude smells. Cool. All right, let's see how much of that. Oh, that's doing well because, of course, it is. I've just gotten to my point where I'm like, if I got something to say, I'll say it. And most of the times, I'm just going to do the jokes on here anyway. It's just, this is a lot funnier to do in my brain. But what is this? Hello. Thank you. Kung Fu Master Bud says hello and just subscribe to me on the Twitch. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hold on. Let's just put it over his face. I think that works really well. And it says, you like BJJ? Well, I have news for you. As the guy who hosts a show called Grappling Hour, yes, it might come as a shock. I do enjoy the jiu-jitsu, but thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoy the content that we have here on the show. Appreciate that. Tony, let's do this. Let's round the third base. Let us, oh, you just started BJJ? Oh, do we have a meme guy for you then? Check out Happy Rolling. If you enjoy the jiu-jitsu, you will mostly enjoy the Happy Rolling. I think that's, you can cut that one. You can use that on your page. Tony, tell the people where they can find you, where they can go see your memes, and the other occasional nonsense you do on your YouTube, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at happyrolling_BJJ. If you click the hashtag Happy Rolling, you're going to get a lot of dice. Apparently that's big in the dice community. That was supposed to be dice, by the way.
Wait, well, you can't see it, so just move yourself. No, that's not helping.
That's not dice.
No, that's not helping right now. Legitimately got worse. I said to do it, and then I saw it, and I go, no, bad choice.
But you wouldn't let me talk about Dave Chappelle earlier. YouTube, Happy Rolling BJJ. That's mainly what I'm on. Instagram and YouTube.
Great work. As always, you do some of my favorite memes, and still, after so many years, such quality to what you do, and I'm always glad when we're able to catch up. So, Tony, you are a gem, a good individual, and just to kind of round on this one, it says, was deciding between BJJ and Judo, but only Judo had lessons 1 day per week, and BJJ had 3 days a week, so I picked BJJ. I think you made the right choice. Ooh. Also, I don't know if you know this, I don't know your age, I don't know how old you are. Jiu-jitsu be really tough on the body, but Judo be tougher. Like, I just cannot do jujitsu stand-up throws too much, but for judo, my body rejects it. It's like, why are we doing this? It does not seem like a smart choice. You said you're
And
18. Oh, you could still do it. Actually, I take that back. You're old enough where if you did some judo, I think you could still mess some people up. I would tell you this though. There's going to be a part when you do jiu-jitsu where your body just hurts and you're going to go like, but why does it hurt? It's because of the buildup of years of all those times where you go, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's going to happen more in judo, in my opinion. But I think you're going to make a better choice. We're a lot cooler.
the memes are a lot better in jiu-jitsu. Have you seen some of those judo memes?
I don't think I have ingested judo memes. Like, what is an example of a judo meme?
A lot of Japanese.
Ugh.
I don't know. It's like a picture of Seinfeld. It's like when your training partner goes for a Sotogari instead of Umigaishi, and I'm like, what the heck is that?
By the way, as an undermined element of all of this is, what's the deal with Sumigaishi? Is it Sumi? Is it too much? Is it Gaishi? I don't know. You tell me. I think that's definitely going to make me laugh a lot. I will say, I do feel like we're sometimes guilty of things here in jiu-jitsu. I always said that if I were to do comedy for just jiu-jitsu guys, my first joke would just be like, so what's the deal with half guard? Am I right? Over here, this guy. So, and it says this, I only wanted to do judo first, or I wanted to do judo first, but only 1 day a week per seems kind of a little. It does let your body rest. And here's some good news. You will find ways to still be able to mix in different disciplines if you do jiu-jitsu. But I think you're going to like jiu-jitsu a little bit better. If you end up doing judo even just once a week, it's probably better for your body. So just consider that as you do it. But don't be afraid to cross-train. You could definitely do all disciplines. But nonetheless, Kung Fu Master Bud, we will see you back here. You can catch all my different episodes. And I'm going to go ahead and plug those in a second. But Tony, again, you're great. I appreciate you, kid. You keep up the good work. And I'm going to say bye to you off air in just a second here. All right. That's what we're doing. We're doing that. Okay. Sorry. I didn't, you know what it was? It looked like you were vaguely doing some Kung Fu shit at the very beginning. And I was like, he's doing the slap bump thing. Okay. Got it. There. Bam.
But it's better than that.
Yep. And don't forget, I have the ISOs of these recordings. So that shit's going to find its way into a return meme from the Grappling Hour and the Verbal Tap. Tony, thank you very much, sir. And to the rest of you goons, thank you so much for watching this episode of Running the Gauntlet. We hope you enjoyed it. If you like this, like, comment, and subscribe. And I told you if you made it all the way to the end, we'd give you something to comment on. I think what we should comment on is, why don't you give us your ranking of the top 3 participants from Pokemon in Jiu-Jitsu? Like, who would be the 3 best? And you can even tell me in what different discipline. We specifically picked IBJJF because I wanted to get a clean version. I think some of you guys looking at a sub-only version of it would have very different answers. And I'm going to be honest, I really don't care what they are. Now that we're done with that. So
do it for Naga.
Do it for Naga. Do a Naga belt. You know what? Actually, Snorlax with a Naga belt that doesn't fit him is very funny. So we'll go back to that one a little bit later. Last couple little things. We told you to like, comment, and subscribe. We're also going to tell you guys, patreon.com/grappling hour. You can go there, see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can also see some technique breakdowns, roast Raph, where people roast my competition footage, and extra bonus content not available anywhere else. Join us on our Discord and at Apple Podcasts and Spotify, all at Grappling Hour. Join us. And you guys could also catch some Grappling Hour merch if you go over to rafaesparza.com/merch. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at Running the Gauntlet. We will be back next week with another installment of The Bullpen and another great installment of Running the Gauntlet. That's going to do it for us. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on